will discuss about the egestion of food particles. See, yesterday we discussed about absorption of nutrients, how absorption of different type of nutrients takes place. Means now these nutrients are present in each and every cell of the body. Now our body cells are going to utilize them, and assimilation simply means utilization of these resources. So how utilization of different food particles are going to take place? So let's discuss them. First one is how utilization of carbohydrates takes place. So after digestion we are getting various type of monosaccharides like glucose, galactose, fructose. After digestion of carbohydrates we are having these monosaccharides. Now these monosaccharides are basically the main source of energy. That means glucose will be taken up by the cells simply to produce ATP. Energy liberation will be there. Now another function will be this glucose. If we are having extra glucose in our blood, this glucose will be converted into glycogen. You can say different food sources are going to be converted into glycogen, and it will be stored in liver and muscles. And whenever there will be requirement of glucose, the glycogen will be again broken down into glucose and it will be utilized. Some of the glucose or some of the carbohydrates are also converted into fats, and these are stored in our body. This is how carbohydrates are being assimilated in our body. Now the second component is proteins. Basically when all the proteins were digested completely, we were having amino acids. These amino acids are taken up by the cells. They are not used for the purpose of storage, but they are taken up by the cells, and the cells are going to secrete more new proteins by utilizing these amino acids, and later on these proteins will be used by the cells for their growth and repair purpose. Because proteins are the most important functional unit of our body, so they will be involved in the process of various type of growth and repairment. Other than these amino acids can also be converted into glucose and fats, and later on these can be used for storage purpose, or they can be used for the liberation of energy. That means glucose can be used for the purpose of liberation of energy, and fats can be used for the purpose of storage. Now some of the amino acids in liver, some of the amino acids are basically deaminated. What happens in liver? Some of the amino acids are deaminated. That means the ammonia group is going to be removed from the amino acids, and later on it will be converted into ammonia, and this ammonia will be converted into urea by various step of reactions, and finally this urea will be removed out of our body because it is completely waste of for our body. So this is how proteins are being assimilated. Next comes the fats. Fats are basically acting as a fuel for cell, and most importantly it is used for the purpose of storage. Various adipose cells are there that are going to use fats, or that are storing the fats. Now the important function for storage of the fats are basically they are helping in maintaining our body temperature. So important function is to maintain our body temperature, plus it is also present in some areolar tissues between the organs, and it is acting as a cushion for different type of organs. So this is how assimilation of food takes place in our body. Now this is all about the food that has been digested by the enzymes. Some part of the food is remaining undigested. That means that is not acted upon by any of the digestive enzyme. Now from small intestine, that undigested part is going to enter into large intestine, and the process of removal of that undigested part from the body will be egestion. So egestion simply means removal of undigested food from the body. Now what happens with this undigested food when it is going to enter into large intestine? in large intestine basically there is lots of water absorption. From this undigested food, water is going to be absorbed. Along with water, some important electrolytes like sodium ions are there, chloride ions are there. They will also be absorbed. Plus, one important thing about here is, in our body there are some good bacteria present. Good bacteria means in large intestine E. coli or Escherichia coli is surviving. What this Escherichia coli is doing? Basically, it is acting upon this undigested food and it is leading to the production of various vitamins like vitamin B12, vitamin K, B1, B2. So, in large intestine, all these vitamins will be absorbed. And now, due to continuous absorption of water, basically solidification of this undigested food takes place. And this solidified food from large intestine, it is going to move into rectum, where it is temporarily stored for some time, and from rectum it is going to be pushed into anus. Anus will be the opening that is going to remove this undigested food from our body. Now I told you earlier also that this anus is containing two sphincters, internal sphincter and external sphincter. So various muscles like diaphragm, abdominal muscles, whenever there is voluntary contraction of these muscles, these anal sphincters are going to open and removal of undigested food takes place with the help of external anal sphincter. Now what this undigested food, or you can say waste, is containing? This undigested food is basically containing some bacteria. Almost 3% bacteria are there. Some 10%, around 10% fat is there. 2 to 3% proteins are there. 30% of roughage is there. And there are some pigments that are basically leading to the brown color of the faces, and these are stercobilin and stercobilinogen. From where these pigments are coming? We learned earlier also that liver is going to release biliverdin and bilirubin. So these are the modifications of bilirubin, and this bilirubin is present in the bile juice. So this is what the waste is containing. So we have completed the digestion portion of this chapter. Next we will discuss the remaining portions about the different type of diseases that are related with the digestive system.